Om Satyam Param Dhimai. Om Satyam Param Dhimai. Om Satyam Param Dhimai. Om Satyam Param Dhimai. Om Satyam Param Dhimai.
When we study science, we study many laws, study physics, we study chemistry. But when we move in, right, and we are trying to see what laws are behind everything in the universe. And we come down to two fundamental laws. And it is these two laws which penetrate everything in the universe. These are the law of 7 and the law of 3. So today we are going to talk about the law of 3. I hope it changes the way you see the world. Whenever I meet someone, many people come and they talk about their understanding, their experiences. Many times people take me to meet their guru, this, and I always try to look for 3 things. The first is what he is speaking, what he is saying, is it a result of attention moving inwards, or is it still from attention moving outwards? That is, I've read it from books, I've heard it from lectures. So when attention moves inwards, it is the beginning of self-observation. So is his knowledge coming from self-observation? So whenever I meet someone, the first thing I do is that from what he is speaking, what he is saying, how much is a result of self-observation? Please understand, I'm not interested in religious experiences. I saw this, I saw that, thoughts stopped, thoughts did this, I saw astral, I saw this, visions. I'm not interested in that. How much of what you're saying is a result of your own self-observation? So that is the first thing. The second thing which I look for is these 2 things. Is that in his speaking, is there knowledge of the 2 laws, the operation of the 2 laws? Is it an intellectual understanding, or does he see, can he see the 2 laws in operation? The law of 3 and the law of 7. For me, that is a spiritually evolved person. I'm not interested in somebody who can see the future. Right? I'm not interested in anyone having big experiences. Not that. These are the 3 things which I look for. Normally when I'm meeting a person is what is his, what he's saying, how much is a result of working inside. Right? The second is how much of knowledge is there of the operation of these 2 laws, the law of 3 and the law of 7. Right? And a state comes in life wherein every manifestation, every event, everything that is happening inside and outside, you see the operation of these 2 laws. Right? So today we'll start with the law of 3. And the law of three says that in every manifestation, every creation, everything that happens in the universe, whatever appears as gross, whether it appears as subtle, right? It is composed of three forces. So this is the background, right? Many years ago, I was with Vimla ji for some time, and she used to explain this in a very, beautiful way. She said initially there was what you call the absolute or God, what in Sankhya we call as Purush, what in the Shastra we will call as Shiva or whatever. And Shiva made Shakti, Purush made Prakriti, with the desire, with the intent of creation, going through the process of creation. And Shakti was in a state of balance. Shakti was in a state of equilibrium, Prakriti or Shakti. And in a state of equilibrium, there could be no manifestation. Nothing could be made. It was void. If you read Tauriyaji's Purpose of Birth and Death, this state of void or this state of equilibrium, he calls as inky darkness. So he says there was this state of inky darkness. In Shastra we call it as Sat. There just was. What there was, no one knows. Just isness, Sat. Now, in this equilibrium, unless this equilibrium was broken, unless this state of rhythm and balance was broken, no creation would be possible. So, something came out of that state of rhythm and balance, and that was the first force. We will call it as the active force. I have used the word Rajas. Rajas is a word which has come from the Sankhya Darshan. When the Eastern, people talked about it, they used the terms Tamas, Rajas and Sattva. In the West, they used active, neutralizing and passive. So active, passive and neutralizing. Now, what they called this in India was they used to call Rajas as a gun. They did not call it as a force. So, just we'll take the difference a little and then we'll use both for the same thing. We won't change this thing, but just to give a small, there is a slight difference, but I'm going to use them interchangeably. Before this is made, before the creation of this, what goes into the making of this is three forces. Once this is made, when I observe the state of the three forces in this, they come out as gun, characteristics. Right? So when the Eastern mind, they looked at it, they looked after the creation. When the Western mind is looking at it, they are still talking what are the forces going into the creation. We will use both the terms interchangeably. Later on, when you study for yourselves, you can separate it. Right? I'm just giving you a kind of... So, there was this state of equilibrium, and from this state of equilibrium, something had to break, something came out, and that was something which says, I want to create, I want to make the universe. And that was the active force. It came out. I want to do. This active force is present in all of us. Right? Now, somebody wants to do, but to do with what? How do you make something? So a second force came up and said that you want to make, I am the matter, I'll become the matter, I will allow myself to be made. You be the maker, I will allow myself to be made. And the second force came out, that was the passive force. Tamas. But two is not enough. There has to be some intelligence. How much of this relates to how much of this? There has to be something which balances both, which brings both into a state of a certain balance, that something can be created. And this was the force of intelligence, the third, and this was called as sattva. Sorry. Neutralizing. Sattva. So this related the two. It was the force of intelligence. Now, Shastra says that everything that is created out of these three forces. It is these three forces are in a total flux. And every moment they are shifting positions, changing positions, and moving into every creation. Without three, nothing is possible. If two meet, it is not possible. The third has to be there. And the third is sattva, the neutralizing. So you want to do something, you may want to start a business. You will say, I want to start this business. So this is the substance with which you start the business. This is your desire to start with the business. But something has to relate both of them. If something does not relate both of them, then nothing is going to happen. Nothing is going to come out of what you want to do. Now, science does not accept three forces. It is only very recently that there is some vague interpretation of three forces in science. Science talks of two forces. Right? Whether they are talking of electricity, it is positive and negative electricity. Whether they are talking about what you call electron and proton, it is only now that they are accepting that there is a possibility that something else is there. But all Shastra, all religions have always talked about three, whether it is Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, whether it is the Trinity, they've always talked about three. Now, the universe is a cosmos, and a cosmos means everything happens according to law. Nothing is chaos. So, if anything is happening, if anything is being created in the universe, there has to be a law behind it. We don't see the operation of the law is difficult. If I'm feeling irritated in this moment, there has to be a law how that irritation came into being. Right? What happened? Right? So every manifestation in the universe is the combination of three forces: active, passive, neutralizing. Something initiates, something resists, something balances. Now these three forces are throughout the universe in nature, and they are also within us in man himself. And to study these forces, you have to move in. You have to move into man himself. Now, for any creation to happen, all the three forces must come to one point, to a point of conjunction. This point of conjunction is called the neutralizing force. It is like the equilibrium, what you call the fulcrum in a lever, which balances the two. If the forces are moving in opposite directions, no manifestation happens, no creation happens. So two cannot do anything. So wherever three meet, we will call that meeting of three as a triangle or a triad. So the triad is a meeting sattva, tamas, rajas, neutralizing, passive, active. Right? It's a triangle, a triad. Now can anyone tell me what will be the property of the active and passive forces? The basic property of the active and passive forces. Tamas and rajas. The passive and active forces. What will be the basic property? Yeah, but that is, when they come together, what has to happen? They have to be one has to be against the other. One has to be against the other. If both are moving in the same direction, nothing is going to happen. One has to be against the other. I want to start a business is the active force. Obstacles are going to come is the passive force. Can you see? This is the movement of life. In everything we do in life, these two forces are going to be there. Something we want to do and something is going to resist. Right? And this is law. This is law. Now, supposing the three meet and something is born out of that, some creation is born, a triad is born. What can happen next? What can happen next? I see someone, I don't like the person. So when I see him, what is happening within me? There is resistance, is there not? Resistance is tamas. Okay? Passive force. So, as I see him entering the room, there is a build-up of passive force within me. Right? Okay. Now, what else? Either I say I want to go away, or I want to ask him to leave. So there will be an active force, rajas. Right? What will be the outcome of both of these? The final manifestation, irritation. Right? These three together will form a triad. Three forces have come to meet and they have created something called irritation within me. This triad is irritation. Now what will happen out of this? Will it create a new triad? I'll say something to him. Again, three forces will meet. A chain of thoughts will start. Again, three forces will meet and it will go on. So once we have one triad, we can move on to multiple triads. Right? Okay. So, where the three meet together, where there is a conjunction, a meeting place of the three forces, something is manifested at this point of conjunction, right? That is something which we will call a triad, a meeting of three. Now, because the active and passive are against each other, if there was no neutralizing force, they would cancel themselves out and nothing would come out of it. So, this neutral force, it brings something together. It is a form of understanding. Somebody came through the door, passive, right? I am feeling that I want to do something active. They will both cancel out each other. There has to be some intelligence at that point. What would that intelligence be? No, not attention. Okay, this person may create a nuisance over here. Maybe ask him to go away. So the active, the passive force, which is resistance, will become active. It will get through the obstacle. Active, his coming in and overpower him and tell him to go away. The intelligence has to come from somewhere. The understanding has to come from somewhere. So these three forces will keep on meeting in this way. We have to keep on studying this within ourselves. Now, if you were to study this outside in life, a common example would be a windmill, right? So, a windmill is a building with wings. The active force is the wind. The passive force is the building. What is the neutral force? The shafts, right? It allows the wind to convert into electricity. The final outcome of the triad is electricity. Right? Now, because there are three forces, there are three kinds of will. It's very important. There are three kinds of will. Each moment when you look within, our kind of will is shifting. Supposing you're sitting here and you start feeling sleepy, then from an active will you're moving to a passive will. Right? And you say, okay, I'm feeling sleepy, I'll have a cup of tea. You're moving to a neutralizing will. You're hearing with proper interest, you're in an active will. Can you see that each moment within us, which will are we in? Every moment in our life, we are in some kind of will. Are we in a neutralizing will? Are we in an active will? Or are we in a passive will? Am I coming across in this? Right? And it is from this moment that our self-observation starts. In which will am I? Right? Supposing I see something very attractive in a shop, which will do I go to? Active. I'm being attracted. Right? But then I see I don't have enough money in my pocket, it is the passive will. Can you see how each moment this flux is going on? Right? And self-observation will begin with which will am I in the present moment? Which would be the highest of the three wills? Neutralizing. So, how much of the day am I spending in neutralizing will? Where is this? We'll later go into it. Where is this neutralizing will coming from? Is it coming from consciousness or is it coming from the mechanicalness of life? Right? So, this is something which is a subject for inner observation. Which will am I in? Like I said, I see somebody coming in, I don't like him, immediately the will shifts to a passive will. I'm resisting now. I'm trying to resist life. Right? I move into a passive will. Right? So one will wants to do, the other will offers resistance, and the third will wants to balance. Right? Bring balance. Now, supposing I see someone, I don't like that person, and I sense inside that I am in a resisting will, I am in a, the quality of my thoughts has become full of tamas, they become loaded with tamas. I am in a inner sensitivity of resistance, right? I say I don't want this to happen. And I suddenly become conscious at that point. I suddenly move into a state of self-remembering. Now what happens? Now what happens? What will happen? Come on, I'm sure we are practicing something. What will happen? Yeah, I'll say, this is my attitude to that person, right? And I'm observing that attitude, right? What will happen to the active and passive forces? No, the neutralizing force, I'm creating a new neutral force. So what will happen to the active and passive forces? They will change. They will change. And this is the art of understanding the three forces, that it is in our hands to change the active and passive force. We can reverse conditions in life without changing anything outside. We can reverse conditions in life. And that is why we learn this science of the forces, because everything is these three forces. So we're going to go deeper into this. Now, so creation is born of three wills. Everything in life. God, for Him to create, the first thing He had to do was create three wills. Without creating three wills, nothing was possible. Okay. Now I'm going to come back to this, and I'm going to now repeat something which I took last time. And then we'll come back to this. We want to finish this today. Okay, last time we talked about being. What is being made of? What is being made of? What is being made of? Last time we talked about being. Being is made of three things. What are they? What are the three which go to make up being? Third is? When I say the word I, the I is made of three things. Tomorrow we will go into this subject of feeling of I. What is the feeling of I? Where does the feeling of I come from? Supposing I'm the president of some club, say Rotary Club or something, right? And I meet you for the first time. And I say, okay, I am Rajen, but in that saying of I, you understand what I'm trying to say? Have I included, I may not be telling him, but in the tone, in that feeling of I, when I'm saying I to him, I'm meeting him for the first time, am I including that president of the Rotary Club? Can you understand? When I use the word I, what am I saying? We are absolutely in darkness. So tomorrow we'll go into the feeling of I. What is the feeling of I? Right? So supposing I am including that, then which I am I? Which part of my being am I talking about? All prizes, all titles, everything comes in false personality. Right? So, my being is made of three things: essence, personality, false personality. The essence is my real side. This is my acquired side. This is my false or imaginary side. That's why the Rotary Club is very good. Every year they allow somebody to imagine he is the president. So, right. Good imaginary side. Okay, so we have three sides. The real side. What is the real side? This is the real side. It is that which took birth. That which took birth. It is made of a very separate substance than this physical substance. What we call a body. It is made of a very different substance. Right? So, that which took birth is an essence. And it took birth for only one purpose. To grow. To rise into freedom. Right? Now, when it takes birth, it forms a personality. The personality starts with what? I'm repeating everything which we did last time. So, the personality starts with what? Name. Now, we'll go into the study of personality. I hope that day after tomorrow I can talk about just the personality. But the personality for us at present has many roles. All the roles we play in life. All the roles we play in life. Right? So supposing I've come here in the role of a teacher, then I'm in the role of a teacher. It is my personality. It is not my essence. It is not my essence. Right? I came from home, my son was going for his job. With my son, I'm playing the role of a father. Right? This is a role. It is a part of personality. The essence is nobody's father, nobody's son. Right? The essence has some other father. It comes from a very higher source. Right? So, there is a father in the essence, but not this father. When we say our father in art in heaven, we mean our essence father, not this father and mother. When we say Tvameva Mata, we mean that essence father, not this father and mother. Right? There's nothing to do with this father and mother. We mean where the source, where the essence has come from. So, in the personality, there are so many roles. So many roles. I got a degree in college. So, I may have a degree of, say, Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Law. So, then with that, a certain role in life. And in life, everybody is playing some role. They have studied something. They are either doing a job or a profession or some business. They are playing a role. All this comes in personality. Now, on the personality is built the false personality. The false personality. The false personality is totally imaginary. And it has everything to do with the roles we play in life. If I am playing the role of teaching just now, then I have an imagination of myself as a teacher. I am a very good teacher. Now that goes into the false personality. The role I am playing is in the personality. Right? Now if somebody criticizes me and says that what you are explaining, this person explained better, I feel hurt. I feel insulted. Wherever I feel hurt or insulted, it is always the false. The real can never feel insulted. Try to understand this. Right? So we are now moving on a separate journey. So with all my roles, I create a picture, and the false personality is an album of pictures I have of myself. A whole album of pictures I have. I have a picture of myself as a father. I have a picture of myself as a son. I have a picture of myself who knows this. I have a picture of myself, so many things, as a husband or whatever. Even if I go in the swimming pool, I have a picture of myself swimming. And all these pictures are created, they are woven, they are knitted out of imagination. Right? And that is my whole imaginary side. And all of us have a huge imaginary side. Which side is the biggest? The false, the imaginary side. And it has to die. It has to die. Otherwise, nothing is possible. Nothing is possible. Right? And it's very sad. Sometimes you go to, you're called to ashrams, and the heads of the ashrams are talking, and they're saying, I met president, I did this, I did that, and suddenly I realize, here's the people a person who's supposed to be teaching thousands of other people, right? And still the false personality is right there. Nothing has changed in the false personality. Okay, now we come back to the three forces. We'll go into this deeper some other time. I think I took it. Now, every moment life is moving through the five senses. And it is hitting which part? The essence, the personality, or the false personality? Which part is life moving into? Who meets life first? Supposing you ask a question, who meets that question first? The role. The role which is being played. You will go home, you will meet your children, right? You will say, have you done your homework? Have you done this? So, who is meeting the son or the daughter? The father, the role. So, that impression of the daughter or son, whatever she or he is saying, is coming and meeting whom? The personality. It is meeting the personality. Now, the role comes, the life, every moment is meeting the personality. The personality has a choice. It has a choice. It can take that life which is coming in, and it creates a food out of that life. It creates a psychological food out of that life, and it has the choice of making that food, cooking it for the essence, or cooking it for the false personality. Now am I coming across? Every moment, life is coming to the role we are playing in that moment. Every moment we are in some role. Right? That is our personality. So life is coming in to meet that role. Now, the choice lies from that role to make the false personality powerful or to make the essence powerful. Now, when a child is born, there is of course no false personality, there is only essence. Slowly he builds a personality. So when he is born, essence is active, personality is passive. Which is, what is the neutralizing force? What is the neutralizing force? Life. Life is the neutralizing force. Right? So he will go into school, and in school he will say that you now have to study to make a degree, to get a degree. What is school doing? It is making personality active, essence passive. He is going into school, personality will become active, essence becomes passive. If you read Tawariya Sahib's books, he has called personality as the outer man, essence as the inner man. Personality as the outer man, essence as the inner man. Okay? And he says that at a certain age, the personality becomes active, this becomes passive. It does not become active again throughout our life. Throughout our life. Please see this, because we go to a religious teaching, we go to a spiritual teaching, we go to a spiritual teacher to change this again, to make personality passive, essence active. But people come and say, oh, I have done Reiki, and I have done this, and I have done that, and I know everything, and all that. What have they done? Made it passive and active? Have they changed it? No, all that they have done has gone into false personality. They went to learn Reiki. I don't know what Reiki is because I have not learned. Right? But whatever they did, they went to learn that. Right? And they made it a part of their false personality. The inner relationship of essence to personality has not changed. It is still essence passive, personality active. And if personality is active, then what is created all the time? False personality. Whether they are doing Reiki, whether they are pranic healing or this or that, or following whoever, and they are taking pictures of their guru and putting it up here and putting it up there, everything is false personality. You can only laugh. You can only laugh. Can you see? Nothing changes. They go to a teaching for something, but nothing changes. Right? And if you say something against their guru, they react. It's all still false personality. So, this is the equation. We are born, essence active, personality passive. Personality becomes active, essence becomes passive. This has to change. But as long as false personality is very, very powerful, it can never change. That is why false personality has to die. Right. Okay. Now, we come back to life. Now we go to a teaching which tells us this, and we call this an esoteric teaching. Right? We say that there is a jail, and maybe somebody has escaped from that jail, and he has given some way, he has defined something of how we can escape from the jail. Some route or something of that sort. Right? And that is a teaching. And in that teaching they tell us that this is the equation. It's the equation. Now, life comes into the personality. What If we want to change the equation, what becomes the neutral force? If we want to change the equation, what becomes the neutral force? Yes, the teaching. The teaching. Right? So I see this person coming in the door. I say, I don't like this person. I'm feeling resistance from inside. He has come, it has met my personality. There's an inner feeling of reaction inside. And I say that I don't want this person in my talk. Where have I taken the neutral force from? From the teaching or from life? From life. What becomes powerful? False personality. And this happens automatically because in anger I am in a reaction. In irritation I am in a reaction. So my understanding can only come with the normal mechanicalness of life. And the normal mechanicalness of life is this fellow is a useless person, get rid of him. That is the normal understanding of life. Otherwise he is going to create trouble for other people, etc., etc., etc. This is the normal understanding. Right? Now if I bring in some consciousness over here, which Mr. Tawaria says starts with the pause. Have we taken the pause? No, we've not taken the pause. Okay. Which starts with the pause. I pause over there and I say all this dislike which is coming is not because of him. It is already lying within me. I want to be free of this. I will not react. I will take my understanding, sattva, from the teaching. And the teaching says to be free of reaction. So I take it. I understand it, I don't react, I try to bring in consciousness. With consciousness comes understanding. What grows powerful? Essence. In that moment, I have made essence active, personality has become passive. But if I have made personality active, then this becomes more powerful, essence becomes passive. Life is always the neutral force. Where it is up to me. In consciousness, I take my understanding from the teaching. If there is no consciousness, then the understanding is from whatever my conditioning in life. And in life, I have been conditioned to get angry on that person. I saw my father doing it, he saw his father doing it, and it was always done in the same way. Nothing ever changes, and I get angry, and that's the end of the matter. Right? So, these three forces are there every moment in front of us. Everything that is happening is three forces. I just went into essence personality and false personality because I had explained this last time. So I just touched upon it just to talk about the three forces. So, see, whatever we do, we may be doing a japa, we may be doing a puja, we may be doing a meditation, we may be doing some yoga technique or whatever we are doing. In the end, it boils down to every moment in life. Is the false personality becoming powerful or the essence becoming powerful? That's all it boils down to. Everything else is just help, net practice. It is not the cricket match. The cricket match is personality or essence. That is the cricket match. Whether I have a photo of 100 gods in my house, no gods in my house, doesn't make any difference. Right? Whatever I keep all the vrats in the year, all the fasts in the year, right? It may all go into false personality. In the end, it boils down to this. Every moment in life. Life to live in such a way that every moment I am creating food for my essence is growing. When at the moment of death, The essence is of a different quality than what was born. Please understand, do we die in a higher state than in which we were born, or in a lower state? Lower state, because we die in personality and false personality. When we were born, there was no personality or false personality. We were born in essence. We were born in essence. And all of us die in personality. Right? We have fallen. And with everything. With everything. Right? Okay. So, the change in the quality of the neutral force, whether the neutral force comes from life or the neutral force comes from the teaching. In Gurdjieff it is called from the work. Whether the work gives the neutral force or life gives the neutral force. When life gives the neutral force, personality becomes active. When, the work gives the neutral force, essence becomes active. Now we'll talk about time a little. This is again a repetition. Personality and false personality are in horizontal time. Past to future. Essence does not know what is past and future. Essence is in something called vertical time. Anything I do in this time has nothing to do with essence. I may say, okay, I don't like this busy life of Bombay, so much traffic and so much of fumes and etc. Let me go to one quiet place, one farm, sit down and meditate. Right? Is that a change in this time or in this time? It's in this time. It's not going to have any difference, make any difference. Anything I change in horizontal time will not make a difference. I may change the color of the clothes I'm wearing, maybe wear a mala. It's not going to make any change. So, any temporal change has no effect on the essence. Essence is in a different time. It is in a different time. It is in what we call as now. Now. Now, last time I talked about something presence and present. You remember that? Huh? Every moment the present is a part of horizontal time. Presence is a part of vertical time. You're sitting over here, you're sitting in the present moment. I hope you are. Right? But is there presence? Is there presence? Supposing I'm listening to a beautiful piece of music. So I'm lost in the music, I'm in the present moment, but I am still in this time. Is there presence? Is there presence? Presence is in a different time. Presence is Purush, God. Presence is Shiva. Present is Prakriti, Shakti. Each moment there is this meeting of presence and present. Of course, if you're daydreaming, there is no present, there is no presence. Right? If this inner monkey is chattering all the time, there is no presence, there is no present also. So I'm hoping that you've come over here and all of you all are not very young. Right? So I'm quite sure that the monkey has stopped chattering. Okay. So, there must be presence. Now, what happens if there is presence? I think I explained this last time. what happens to every moment of life if there is presence? What happens in every moment of life if there is presence?
You are ready to meet any event.
The experience of life. Yes, but what is the experience of life? Every moment. No, for presence, attention has to go inward. Otherwise, there will be no experience of presence. But every moment you experience the present and the presence. Two things. So every moment you're leading a double life. You're extracting not 100% from life, but 200%. Can you understand each moment? I'm drinking this water. So I'm extracting the taste and sensitivity of this water in this moment. But I'm present also. There is presence. So I'm feeling my presence at the same time. So I'm getting two experiences. Experience of water plus experience of presence. I drinking water. Experience of I plus experience of water. That is why there is bliss. 70 years should become 140 years, no? It becomes much more because out of 70 years, we've been in the present for 1 or 2 minutes. Right? Rest of the time we spend daydreaming. Can you understand what I'm trying to say? The quality of life changes. And it is in that feeling of presence, which is consciousness, that the essence grows powerful. That is in a new time, the vertical time. The essence is not a part of this time. Because it was there before this time was created. This time was created with the body. And the essence was before the body. Right? So the essence is not a part of this horizontal time. Right? So just a few things which we did last time. So make a practice of how much of time can we get rid of in our lives? Maybe I have a phone, but then I see somebody's phone, so I say, tomorrow I'm going to get a better phone. So have I identified with time or not identified with time? Right? So I've created time in my life. I've identified with the horizontal line of time. From morning to evening, can I live my life in such a way that I don't create time? I don't. I say, will you come to pick me up tomorrow? Hang on. The minute I say tomorrow, I'm hypnotized by this time. Right? Of course, all of you all are not young, so if you say, when you fall in love, I love you till, the stars in the sky. Right? This time. Right? So, try to, where it is only necessary in life, try to use time. In that way, something in us will free itself from horizontal time. So, of course, if you're going to your work or whatever, you have to use time over there. Right? You will create a contract to be honored after 3 months or whatever of that thing. Right? But after that, wherever you can drop time, try to drop time. This identification with this line of time will slowly become weak. Right? Okay. Now, there are three forces. Do we see the three forces? Do we see the three forces? Do we see the three forces? Do we see? No. Do we see two forces? Or do we see one force? What will we do? What do we have to do? See, life is on three levels. Which are the three levels? Which are the three levels? One is the physical world of the senses. The physical world of the senses. I see you. I see you. This is the physical world of the senses. In this physical world of senses, we have what we call events. Events. Right? I see you. We create these events in our life. Now, what is the second world? What is the second? The subtle inner world. My reaction to the outer world. My reactions. I see something outside, the reactions inside. And the third is the three forces. We are living on three planes simultaneously. Three planes of life at the same time. We are living on these three planes of life. How much are we aware of? And of course, one more plane, the dream, where we are not even hardly aware of what our senses are seeing because we are dreaming inside. Right? We are hardly aware of what our senses are seeing. How much of our awareness has gone to this? Of course, this is very far away. The three forces. We want to talk about the three forces. Now, every moment, are we asking from life? Sitting here, is there something going on inside where you're asking from life? You see your son, are you asking from life that tomorrow his day should be better? Right? You see an old father or mother, are you asking from life, maybe if death comes, it shouldn't come with pain or something of that sort? Right? Are we asking from life? Constantly. Every moment, behind the psychological mind, there is a kind of string where we are asking from life. We want life to go our way. We want life to go our way. We want the events of life to bring more happiness to us. And life is very cruel. Can you see this deep hypnosis? How you've come here, but deep down you're asking maybe something for the better. Maybe something for the better. And it is that what I want to free you from. That continuous inner, this is called surati. Surati. It goes on constantly. It goes on. What is it doing? Which force is it creating all the time? Which force is it creating all the time? Active force. Very good. Very good. What is the cause of all the pain in my life? Is it this continuous asking? Is it this continuous asking? Why? Why? See, every moment, say tomorrow I'm going to catch a flight, then okay, it should be a pleasant flight, it will be a good flight. This continuous asking. Right? And is that the cause of pain? Is that the cause of all my pain in life? What does it do? What is Newton's third law of motion? What is Newton's third law of motion? Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Where there is rajas, there is tamas. Where there is rajas, there is tamas. Thank you. What does it mean? What does it mean?
If you try to do something, something will prevent you from doing that.
That is there. I want to build a new shop tomorrow. So that is active force. So the minute I decide, is the resistance already decided? It is already decided. What form it will take, whether it will come immediately, whether it will come after an interval, whether I'll be able to recognize it, different. We keep it on the side. Right? But the fact remains, and this is not Newton's law. Newton just rediscovered this law. This law is as old as anything. Right? What does it mean? What does it mean? Try to understand. Our whole objective in life is to wake up. Our whole aim in life is to wake up. And every moment I am desiring. Every moment I am desiring. Then we are not creating active force. And if we are not creating active force, we are not creating passive force. Supposing tomorrow an illness has to come to meet me. What does it need to come to meet me? No. It will come in the form of a disease, but will it come as active, passive or neutral? As a passive force. Now, try to see how much of passive force have I accumulated? Right. So what does it mean? What does it mean? Passive force is going to come to meet me. I am inviting it. Because I have the conductor ready. Right? The force will come, but it will go through that conductor. It becomes passive force. Whether it comes in the form of illness, whether it comes in something happening in my immediate family, whether it comes in something, stopping me from going ahead somewhere, what form is taking is a different thing, but I already have it within me. Can you understand what I'm trying to say? No, you're not getting it. Well, let's go step by step. No, every moment I am desiring. Then I'm not creating passive force, but definitely I am desiring. is
If this passive force that's within life leads to certain reasons, is the active force that also follows the equal proportions?
no. What I'm trying to say, what is the cause of all our suffering? That every moment I am creating active force. That force creates every action as an opposite reaction. So I am creating passive force. Now life wants to meet me tomorrow, but what have I accumulated within me? The force of life. It will only come through the passive force because I have already accumulated so much of passive force.
Because of action. How will we neutralize it?
First of all, are we aware of what is happening? Are we aware of what is happening? The cause of all my suffering.
So if I eat something, if I have any issues, if I have certain goal, that means I'm creating, that passive force.
That is, in that moment you have a goal. But it doesn't stop over there. I keep on creating active force. You're not getting it as yet. Let's try it some other way. So we want to go for a holiday. Right? So there's a desire to go for a holiday. Say we want to go to Kashmir. Okay? So we say we want to go to Kashmir, so we decide that okay, we will go for 10 days, we will stay in this hotel, we will do this. And that is the over. We bought the tickets and things are over. But does it end there? Now this starts. In Kashmir, I will do this, and I'll be so happy. Maybe I'll meet some beautiful Kashmiri girl like in all the movies. Then I'll be so happy, more happy, right? And then we will do this together, more happy. And this keeps on repeating. Does it stop? It doesn't stop. So what you're talking about, you take, I'm not interested in your desire, I'm saying what goes on all the time. You're creating passive force. And this passive force is accumulating. Okay, I don't know. So suppose
You are only making an active force of thinking, desiring, but the passiveness is
you're accumulating. You're accumulating. Or maybe, chalo, you have said, I want to buy a new TV. Right? So I say, okay, I'm going to buy a new TV. I'll go to this shop. I'm not free for another 10 days. So I'll go after 10 days and buy a new. But does it end over there? Right? Of course, I don't know why I'm buying a new TV. That'll come later. Huh? Maybe I saw some TV in your home and I want to have a better TV than I know. Right? Okay. But it doesn't end over there. It goes on and on inside. And this continuous desiring inside, it creates passive force. Then life tomorrow wants to meet me, but the only medium in which life can meet me is passive force, because I have no other medium. The only way life can come to meet me is through suffering. Now am I coming across? I'm trying to explain these forces to you, these three forces. See, okay.
I want to buy a TV after 10 days. And in these next 9 days I'm thinking I'll have home theater. It has to be a smart TV, digital, with computerized connections, blah blah blah. When I'm going to the shop, I've accumulated passive, so much passive inside me in this 10 days. When I'm going to the shop, he's showing me 4 lakh rupees bill. And it's all gone there. Yeah, I'm not having that much money, so that feeling of sadness.
That is again resistance. Again resistance. Yeah.
Suppose you want to go to a beautiful beach,
The first step you take, you reach after suppose 1000 steps a day. The moment you take the first step, when you're coming back, again your legs start paining when you reach home. So what I mean to say is, when you start only, the first step only, the pain has started there only. And you reach there, you feel that is the enjoyment or whatever it is. And when you come back, your leg starts paining. If you have started at the first step only, the pain.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that. What you're talking is very correct. I had a friend who was, he was running his factory on free electricity. So then after so many years, there must have been a raid on his factory. Right? And so he was caught and he was, fined so much money and all that. So he was complaining about it. But so the problem had already started when he was cheating on the electricity in the first. Then we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that. This is every moment. If we are creating passive force, is suffering going to meet us tomorrow? That is what I'm trying to ask you. Are we inviting suffering in our lives? Can we be free of suffering? This is the basic question. Buddha said, is there suffering? Is there a seed of suffering? Can that seed be known? Can that seed be removed? And if it is removed, then future suffering cannot come. This is the basic question. Basic question. It is not about having a desire to do so much in life. There's no problem. Tomorrow I may have a desire to do something, take a new job. It is what goes on here that is the problem. The new job is not the problem. The ambition is not the problem. The creation of passive force is the problem. This will take some time to understand. Right? It goes on and on. Okay, now we'll just go. I'll just read a few notes, then we'll go ahead. So it is not possible to see third force till one is able to clearly see first and second force. Whenever we desire anything in life, there is a force of resistance. Whenever we make any aim, today you will make an aim that I want to become conscious. But the minute you make that aim, passive force is going to come. Right? So first of all, any aim we make must be a practical aim. If I can do 20 minutes of breathing exercises or 20 minutes of Omkar in the morning, please don't make an impractical aim that I will do 1 hour. I'll do 1 hour for 2 days. From third day, I'll drop it. Can you understand what I'm trying to say? Right? Then everything is at loggerheads inside. Now the nature of the second force will depend on the type of first force. We must each moment try to be conscious of whether we are creating active force within ourselves. This is the first step in consciousness. Now, what is the problem with our vision? We are always habituated to see one thing at a time. How are we going to see 3 things at a time? 2 things at a time. How are we going to see? We are always, either something is good or bad, or it is right or wrong. For us, life is good or bad, or right or wrong. It should happen or it should not happen. Then we can never see 2. We are always stuck with 1. We have to change the way we think. We have to become conscious of the way we are thinking. We always talk of one energy. We always say that this should be this way or it should be that way. This is what is called as formatory thinking. Either this or that. Right? Now, we want to change from this form of thinking to see the shifting of forces within us, within ourselves.
From false personality, do we have to get to a state of neither this nor that? To move from false personality, we have to come to a state of neither this nor that. But then what remains?
Let's keep false personality on the side just let's talk about the forces. What I'm trying to say is that can we think in terms of two? Right? I meet this person, I say he's a good person or then I've thought in terms of one. But I say, okay, I see him as a good person or a bad person. Can I see within myself what is the exchange of forces that is making me see him as a good person or a bad? It has nothing to do with him. That is what I'm trying to say. Can I see this movement of forces? It's become warm again. I think we'll change the seating arrangement tomorrow. Take a break. Just finish this paper. Then I'll take the other one later. Now I'm going to just ask in another way. That tomorrow I want to wake up in the morning at 5 o'clock. And say do Omkar. Which force is this? Active. But is there a passive force? There is a passive force. Now at 5 in the morning I say, okay, now I'll do it at 6 o'clock. Let's go back to sleep. So what has happened? What has happened? The passive force has become active and the active force has become? Can you see this simple thing, this movement of forces? And this is not just between tonight and tomorrow morning, it is every moment. It is every moment. Supposing you ask me for 10 rupees, right? And there is resistance within me. I am in which force? Passive force. I say, who is he to ask me for 10 rupees? Right? He comes and says, no, he's trying to help some people who are, to help who are sick people or whatever, or for some hospital or something he's creating. So does that passive force become active? Immediately change. There is nothing, every moment there is this constant flux. I want you to, it is only through observation of that flux will you understand the forces. Nothing to do with false personality. We'll come to false personality later on. Am I now coming across in this? That each moment the forces are changing. And you just see in your life, people who were friends yesterday, today they change. People don't change, people are the same. This constant flux of forces within us.
Does this happen because of the conscious choices that we are making, or I mean the change of forces? Active becomes passive sometimes, and passive.
It's all mechanical.
It's not by the choices that we make.
No, our choices are all mechanical. Through identification, we are hypnotized. If we could see the working of the forces, we would make completely different choices. We would make completely different choices. Can you see? That is why the study of three forces is so important. Anyway, we'll take the break now. Huh? Huh?
Making something active or passive. So if we are going to make a choice, any choice, are they active or passive?
Wherever we are pulled mechanically, we are going to make the choice.
But once we know the forces, we're still going to make a choice, or is there the option that we don't have to make a choice?
Okay, we go back to I said each force has its own will. Own will. Which will is more powerful? I want to get up in the morning is one will. But in the morning that will becomes less powerful, and the one which is passive becomes more powerful. Right? So in the end, we see, I have not come to many eyes. Which group of eyes within us has a more powerful will take us in their direction. Right? So we'll come to that. What I'm trying to say is that this is a long process, observation of forces within us. This constant flux of, I'm going to continue this. Huh?
Is there any state that you don't have to make a choice? That's the only thing. You don't have to make a choice.
You make a conscious choice. Each moment you make a conscious choice. I wish you would. Right? If you go into false personality like she says, then you have moved in the force of involution or evolution. Then you made a choice for involving, getting hypnotized more in life. And if you move towards essence, you've evolved. You've separated from life. That is your choice. But first, the consciousness has to come in that I can make this choice or not. Then there must be the will to make that choice. Right?